Hi, so we're going to get started with our introduction to the nervous system, and I thought I would work through this PowerPoint with you guys. I'm going to post it as well, so if you prefer to just put it on present and click through it and not have the added narration, that is up to you. So we're going to look at the anatomy and the physiology as we work our way through. So the organs in the nervous system are divided into two main groups. First, you have the central nervous system, and it's abbreviated the CNS. The central nervous system is composed of the brain, which is labeled A here. I pointed to it. Look at that with my finger. And then the spinal cord here, which is labeled B. If you had a highlighter at this point, you might want to take your highlighter and highlight the brain and the spinal cord the same color. And for the spinal cord, you would just go straight down. The other part is the peripheral nervous system. Peri means around. Peripheral means on the outside. If you go to the eye doctor and have your peripheral vision checked, it's not what you can see straight ahead. If you focus straight ahead, they look and see what your eyes can register on the periphery or the outside. So the peripheral nervous system then is, I pointed at it. Again, you can't see me, but I'm pointing at my screen, is letter C here. And it's all these nerves that come off of the brain and the spinal cord and then radiate all the way down your legs, all the way down your arms. So you have all the nerves that are associated. Okay, so let's look at the functions here. We have this picture over here. So three main functions of your nervous system. First of all, sensory information. It's going to detect sensory information. So it's monitoring your external environment and your internal, what's happening inside, your blood glucose levels, your blood pressure levels. On the outside, it could be if it senses something hot, something cold, senses different pressures. Then your brain and your spinal cord are going to integrate or process that information. The information is picked up by the nerves and then it moves to the brain or spinal cord to integrate or process. And then lastly, it's going to make a decision. The brain or spinal cord is going to say, okay, this is okay, no problem, or action needs to be taken, and it's going to send out some sort of response. I'm going to move my face out of the way here so you guys can see that. You have stimulation of muscles or glands that are then going to either move. If you're touching something hot, maybe the motor output is to move your hand, or if it's inside, maybe if your blood sugar, you just ate a meal and your blood sugar increases, you might then secrete more substances to lower your blood sugar. Maybe you remember going back to when we did homeostasis and negative feedback loops, negative and positive feedback loops work in a similar way. Okay, so as far as the tissues go, we're going to look here. First you have a neuron. Another name for a neuron is a nerve cell. These are specialized tissues that are going to react to physical and chemical changes in the environment. Now, neurons are excitable. They can transmit information, and they will do that in the form of nerve impulses. And then the information is going to travel along the nerve fibers. Now, we're going to look at the anatomy or the structures of a neuron. The main part is the cell body. Inside the cell body is the nucleus, the organelles. We're not going to go into detail with that. You did that in biology. Then you have these little projections called dendrites. Dendra means branch, like branch or tree. So they are going to reach out to receive information from other nerve cells. The axons send impulses away from the cell body. So in this picture, number one is the cell body. This is the main portion here in the center. This is the nucleus in the center, actually. There's other organelles. Number two, these are the dendrites. These are the branches that are going to get information from other sources and bring it into this nerve from other nerves. The axon is this long projection. It's actually this blue piece. You see it comes together here, and this blue that travels all the way down here. At the end, these are called axon terminals, and I think my face is blocking it. These are axon terminals, and you will need to add that. I don't think I can write on this. So you need to add in axon terminal. Terminal is the end, so the end of the axon here. Number 4 is the nucleus. Now, this orange coating, okay, wrapped around is called myelin. Now, myelin is a whitish fatty material that it looks almost waxy. It is there to protect and insulate the axon so that the impulse can travel down more efficiently. You want your nerve axons to be myelinated. Now, the thing is, they're not myelinated all the way down. There's little gaps, and there's names for those gaps, and they're called nodes of Ranvier or Ranvier, maybe if it's French. But that's just the name for these little spaces between these sheaths of myelin. I'm going to go back to the myelin, and it's not letting me. Okay, so I just want to make sure that in your notes that you have added that the function of myelin is to help with the transmission of the impulse. So your nerves act as carriers of information, and we want that information to move quickly and efficiently. So the information comes into the cell body, and then it moves down the axon toward the axon terminals. Now, what happens next is there's another nerve cell over here. The dendrites are going to pick up the signals, and it's going to run along that axon to the next one, and so forth. This transmission is extremely fast, and if you have well myelinated cells, then it works even more efficiently. Just an idea of how long this is. So we have a cell body. We're not going to get too caught up in these numbers. The diameter can range from 5 to 135 micrometers. Micro is a millionth, or 10 to the negative 6th. So a millionth of a meter, a millimeter is a thousandth of a meter. So this is very, very small. I'm going to skip through that. If the classroom were the cell body, okay, that was our cell body, and the axon would travel from our classroom at Millard West approximately all the way up to target. That's how long the axons are in relation to the size of the cell body, just to give you an idea. Okay, the other type of cell are neuroglial cells. So these are really the helper cells. They are there to support the neurons and surround them. Sometimes we call them the nerve glue. You might want to write that down. They help to keep all the system running and running efficiently. Now, these do reproduce throughout adulthood. You may have heard that you cannot reproduce neurons. That is true, the cells we just talked about, but the neuroglial cells do reproduce. That's good because they can replace themselves, but if for some reason reproduction, mitosis goes haywire, doesn't work as it should, you can get tumors. These are non-excitable cells. They're not about sending the impulses. There's 4 different types in the central nervous system. The first one is an astrocyte. So astrocytes are star-shaped for astro, and they're going to connect to a blood vessel. Look, I'm pointing again. They're going to connect to a blood vessel. Here's a picture of an astrocyte connected to a blood vessel. They are going to help to remove waste and carry nutrients. Another one's an oligodendrocyte. These are going to insulate neurons from the myelin sheath. They're actually going to create the myelin sheath in the central nervous system. A different type of cell creates it in the PNS. You have microglial cells. These cells are going to help remove waste. They're going to engulf microbes. Here's a picture of microglial cells in a rat brain. You have an astrocyte up here and then these little microglial cells. And then we have ependymal cells. These are going to help circulate cerebrospinal fluid, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But you have fluid within your brain and around your brain and your spinal cord as well. And you have these tiny little hairs here called cilia that help to keep the fluid moving. And you can see the cilia down there as well. Now, in the PNS, there's two types of neuroglial cells. There's satellite cells and then Schwann cells. And we said that the Schwann cells are going to form the myelin sheath. With that, I'm going to stop recording for a minute. How do I stop? Maybe I'm not going to stop. So I can't find the pause button down here. Okay, so I'm going to pick up here. The name of a similar cell in the central nervous system to the Schwann cell was the oligodendrocyte. Okay, so now we have a disease, multiple sclerosis, MS. The myelin sheath is slowly destroyed. It becomes hard, and it's called sclerosed, or there's a sclerosis or scleroses. This is an autoimmune disorder, which means your immune system is essentially attacking itself. The protein sheath, in this case, is attacked. So what happens? People may develop visual or speech impairments. They may have trouble with balance and lose the ability to control some of their muscles. So on this next slide, I have a video for you guys to watch, but I'm actually going to put this on Edpuzzle because I want to make sure everybody sees it. So I wouldn't watch it here. Wait, and it will be uploaded to Edpuzzle either today or tomorrow. You may recognize Selma Blair. She's a Hollywood actor. She's been in several movies. One of the most common is Legally Blonde. So I put a little reference there for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to stop there for now. And if you have any questions, we can chat during our Zoom.